Please do not listen to this recording whilst driving or operating any machinery. Hello there, my name is Ellen Booth and I'm a registered clinical hypnotherapist. This hypnotherapy is aversion therapy for stop smoking. And just to explain to you what aversion therapy is, it's when you would choose something that you find absolutely disgusting, something that makes you retch and gag, something that you find absolutely repulsive. And you choose something that actually has happened in your life, something that you can relate to. You wouldn't just pick feces or vomit. It would have to be something that actually happened that you remember in your life that you can relate to. And this aversive stimulus, which is what you've chosen that you find disgusting, this aversive stimulus, you merge it with the smoking, with your smoking habits. You merge the two together under hypnotherapy, and what is meant to happen when you do so is that because you've merged the aversive stimulus with smoking, you would then be repulsed by the smoking habit. So you would find it absolutely disgusting in the way that you would think about the aversive stimulus. And it's meant to put you off so that you would just find smoking too disgusting and you would never want to do it again. And when I say you pick something that has actually happened in your life, if I was to give you a few examples about things that have happened in my life that were absolutely disgusting, there's 4 of them actually that I've picked, and one of them was the time when my cats must have brought a mouse in and the mouse was still alive and it escaped. Because what had happened is I went to use the dishwasher, and underneath the basket at the bottom I noticed some grey sludge, and I didn't know what it was, so I went and poked it with my fingers, and it was a dead mouse that had been washed in the dishwasher. Now how long it had been there I don't know, so basically I was washing my dishes in the dishwasher with a dead mouse in there. So something that you would find the thought of absolutely repulsive. There was a time when I was walking through London and I saw a pigeon pecking at vomit and eating it. There was a time when my cat had eaten a mouse that it had brought in, and it then puked up the mouse that it had just eaten, and the mouse was in the same similar shape that it was before it had been eaten. But the most disgusting out of all of them that I think that would be a suitable aversive stimulus if I was the subject was the time when my cat brought in a pigeon and it was dead, and rather than dispose of it I was in a hurry, so I didn't have time, so I put it in the little bin that was next to the cat litter tray, where I put the cat poo from the litter tray into the little bin that was next to it. So I thought, I'll quickly put it in there and I'll dispose of it later. Anyway, I forgot to dispose of it and remembered a few days later. And a few days later, when I went to dispose of the pigeon that was in the poo bin, when I took the lid off to dispose of it, there was maggots in the poo and maggots in the pigeon. So out of all 4, that has to be the most disgusting that I would find on my personal viewpoint. So if you have more than one thing that you can choose, you would pick the one that you found the most disgusting. Okay, so that's aversion therapy, and I will now make a start with the hypnotherapy. So for the hypnotherapy, if you could sit upright in your chair with your back straight and your feet flat on the ground with your hands on your lap, and this is to allow circulation throughout your body when you are deeply relaxed. And for the aversion therapy technique, you will need to be able to see your hands, and we will be using both your hands for the technique for the aversion therapy. Okay. Now, you will hear many positive suggestions, many suggestions that are there to help, many suggestions in the techniques that are used. And all of these suggestions that you hear, you are in full control of your own mind, and you can choose to accept or reject any of the suggestions and ideas that you do hear. And all of those positive, beneficial suggestions that are there to help you, you can allow them to have full impact, and you can use them as you wish throughout your daily life. And all of those beneficial suggestions, you can allow them to go deep in the back of your mind, causing a deep and lasting impression there. Okay, now, just to relax you deeper and further, in a few moments' time you'll hear me count down from 10 to 1, and with each descending number that I count down from 10 to 1, you'll go deeper and deeper relaxed with each descending number. So deeply relaxed, there may be times you are not even aware of your body at all. And mentally, your mind will be still, calm and at peace. No thoughts, no distractions, not a care in the world. Okay, so now I shall count you down from 10 to 1. 10, drifting deeper and deeper, relaxed. 9, drifting deeper and deeper, relaxed. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1, and all the way down into a very much deeper relaxed state of mind. Now we shall proceed with the aversion therapy. Now you are in this deep, relaxed state of mind where you are open to change, open to suggestion, and very suggestible, more than you would normally be. So, I would like you to think now, to think about a time in your life when you witnessed and saw and experienced something that you saw that was absolutely disgusting, something repulsive, something that made you feel sick, something that was so revolting, vile and disgusting that you would just feel absolutely disgusted and sickened by it. And you can look back over your life and think about a time when you saw something that was of that disgusting nature, just how I described earlier in the examples I gave you. Something along those lines. And I shall give you a minute of silence where you will no longer hear my voice, and I'll come back to you in 1 minute time, where you can think in that 1 minute about something that you can use for the aversive stimulus. Okay. Okay, now you have acknowledged and found something. I trust that you have something to use for the aversive stimulus that you found disgusting and repulsive. And you can just put that to one side just for the moment. Put it aside in your mind, and we will come back to it when we need to use it. Now, I need you now to think about your smoking habits, the way you smoke, how it affects you, what you really do not like about the smoking habits. And I need you to sum it up in a short sentence. Like, for example, it could be dangerous smelly habits, or it could be disgusting habit that costs too much money, or it could be bad for your health. You can sum it up in a couple of sentences at the most to sum up your smoking habits. And you can do that now and choose a sentence that sums it up. And I'll give you a moment to do so. Okay, now, what I now need you to do is, earlier when I asked for you to place your hands on your lap, I need you now to turn both your hands over so that your palms are facing upwards. And it does not matter which hand you will use. You can use the hand that feels the most appropriate to you. But in one of your hands, I'd like you to project from your mind, project your smoking habits into one of your hands. And when you mentally project it from your mind into that hand, you are holding it in that hand. And you can open your eyes at this point if they are not already open, and you can look at that hand that's holding your smoking habits. You can see it in your hand, you can feel it in your hand. Your smoking habit is in that hand completely. The whole of it, all of it, you're holding it in your hand. Now, in your other hand, the spare hand, I need you now to mentally project from your mind into that hand the aversive stimulus that you chose, that you found absolutely disgusting, revolting, vile and repulsive, that makes you feel sick and that you want to gag. You can mentally project that aversive stimulus into that hand and hold it. And just like you did with the other hand, you look at it, you see it in that hand, you feel it in that hand. You are holding it in that hand. Now, I'd like you to raise both your hands off your lap, and so they are a distance apart, raised from your lap. You can lift your hands into the air now. And in a few moments' time, I will count from 1 to 5. And with each ascending number that I count from 1 to 5, when I do, your hands will draw closer together, like a magnet pulling them together, like they are magnetising themselves to each other with each ascending number I count. And on the count of 5, your hands will clasp together. And when that point happens, when they clasp together, that aversive stimulus that you chose, that you found absolutely disgusting, vile, sickening, that made you want to gag, will completely envelop your smoking habit in the other hand. It will dominate, it will merge, it will take over the smoking habits. It will merge and envelop and completely take over the smoking habit. So that from that point onwards, whenever you might even think about smoking, you will find that you think of the aversive stimulus that would make you so disgusted, sickened and want to gag. That's what will happen once your hands have merged, whenever you may think of smoking. Okay, so ready, I shall now begin to count forward from 1 to 5. 1. Your hands drawing closer together, number by number. 2. 3. 4. And 5, merging those hands together now. And as you do so, you feel it in your hands taking place. You feel the merge taking place in your hands. You feel it, you may see it as you look and watch it. You may see it merge, feel it merge. You feel it, you know it is happening right now to you. And you have a feeling of knowing when When the merge has completed, you will have a feeling of knowing when it has completed. And when it has completed, you can allow your hands to return to your lap. When you have completed, and I shall give you a moment to do so. Okay, now I'd like you to know that from this moment onwards from now on, now that you completely associate smoking with that vile, disgusting, sickening stimulus that makes you feel like you want to gag. Smoking will be represented by that disgusting, aversive stimulus. It will represent smoking for you from now onwards. So anything to do with smoking, the mere thought of it will make you think of that disgusting, vile, sickening events that you witnessed and chose for the aversive stimulus. And you'll just find smoking just too disgusting from now on, too sickening. The thought makes you want to gag. So you'll never smoke again. You have no intention of ever smoking again. So from now on, you'll never smoke again. Whenever you go about your daily business, from first thing when you get up in the morning or at night, whenever you get up for your time all day ahead, you'll just never smoke again, because you'll have no desire to smoke. When you go about your business throughout the day or the evening, no matter where you are, who you are with, what you are doing, you'll have no desire to smoke. If other people smoke around you, that is up to them. But the mere thought of you ever smoking would just be far too disgusting. If other people smoke, it is disgusting, but you could cope with it if you were around it. But the thought of yourself ever smoking again would just be far too disgusting, because you think of that vile, disgusting, sickening, gagging, aversive stimulus. It's just too much for you, and for that reason you'll never be able to smoke again. You'll have no desire to smoke, no matter what the situation. If you are in situations where you used to smoke in the past, like maybe a drink with friends or after a meal, or situations where you used to smoke in the past, you'll have no desire to smoke, because it's just too disgusting, too sickening and disgusting for you. Okay, now in a few moments' time, I'm going to awaken you from this hypnotherapy. But just before I wake you up, I'd just like you to know that if you ever even contemplated smoking ever again, you'd just be so overcome with that sickening, disgusting, vile, that vile aversive stimulus that made you want to gag, you'll just be so overcome by it. It would just be far too disgusting for you. And for that reason, you'll never smoke again. Okay, I'm now going to awaken you. In a few moments' time, you'll hear me count from 1 to 10. You'll become more and more awake with each ascending number. By the count of 8, you'll have your eyes open. And by the count of 10, you'll be fully wide awake. 1, 2, 3, waking yourself up. 4, 5, 6, more and more awake. 7, 8, opening your eyes. 9 and 10, fully wide awake.